So Naomi is something sweet, but Mara is something bitter. So Naomi at this juncture, she feels that who has dealt with her in a bitter form? Let us read it. Who does she take the blame to?
God.
To God. She feels that God has dealt bitterly with her. And how often are we upset or angry with God about the things that has happened in our lives? I mean, now Naomi says, God has dealt with me what? Bitterly. And Pastor Randy Skidson said something that puzzled me. Okay, it was the truth, but I was puzzled. I was left to be puzzled about it. He said, there is no way that God can do you wrong.
True.
There is no what?
No.
There is no way that God can do you wrong.
Amen.
But many a times and often we feel that God did not deal with us in the right way. And it can be in our marriage, it can be that we are single, it can be in many ways. I just want to paint a picture. I want us to go to the book of Genesis 27. Let us go to verse 33. Genesis. I'm just building up and then you will understand where I'm going. Verse 33 to 41. So this session we are going to be very open. I'm not preaching. I'm a preacher by nature. So don't let me to preach. So I just want us to talk and have a conversation. And so if there's anything that you want to augment, you want to share, please share it with us. Before I get to the gist of what I want to talk about. Somebody found it for us?
Yes.
Please read it for us.
I'm reading from King James. Now it happened is 33.
Yes, ma'am, to 41.
Then Issachar trembled exceedingly and said, Where is thee? Oh, who hunted game and brought it to me? I ate all of it before you came, and I have blessed him, and indeed he shall be blessed. 34. When Esau heard the words of his father, he cried with an exceedingly great and bitter cry, and said to his father, Bless me also, O my father. 35. But he said, Your brother came with deceit, and he has taken away your blessing. 36. And Esau said, Is he not rightly named Jacob? For he has supplanted me these 2 times. He took away my birthright, and now look, he has taken away my blessing. And he said, Have you not reserved blessings to me? 37. Then Isaac answered and said to Esau, Indeed, I have made him your master, and all his brethren I have given to him as servants, with grain and wine. I have sustained him. What shall I do now for you, my son? 38. And Esau said to his father, Have you only one blessing, my father? Bless me also, O my father. And Esau lifted up his voice and wept. Then Isaac his father answered and said to him, Behold, your dwelling shall be of the fatness of the earth, and of the dew of heaven from above. 40. By your sword you shall live, and you shall save your brother. And it shall come to pass, when you become restless, that you shall break his yoke from your neck. 41. So Esau hated Jacob because of the blessing with which his father blessed him. And Esau said in his heart, the days of mourning for my father are at hand. Then I will kill my brother Jacob. 42.
No, 41 you're okay, ma'am. Now we know the story, right? Yes. We know the story. Now, as Esau felt betrayed by his brother, which is true, he betrayed him. He took his birthright. First of all, he took his birthright because Jacob was very conniving. Jacob was what? Was very conniving. So we do have such family members, right? Who are tricky, who are conniving, who have done us wrong. So in my version it says, Esau, he cried with a loud voice. He wailed. So he cried to a point where he was going, he could not stop. Because of what his brother has done to him. Then, this was the second, he says, now it's the second time you're doing this to me. Am I talking a language that we know? Yeah. Sometimes there is such sibling rivalry that you cannot understand. Where family members, they are fighting because of certain things. And I just want to paint a background here. Jacob, the mother loved Jacob. The father loved Esau. And this was God's plan. Are you aware? But Jacob must be the one who's going to take what? The leadership on it. Or who was the one who was supposed to rule over his brother. But it was not her mother's place to do what? To take God's role. Or to play God's role. But now we found that these two brothers, they're fighting. And he says, you have taken my birthright. First of all, Jacob was very conniving, like I said. He will trick his brother. I don't know if this was the first incident, but maybe this was the biggest one. We know the first time when they were born, he was holding his brother with his heel. Remember that one? So that's where trouble started. Actually, when the mother was pregnant, they always used to fight. And we can debate that one, but the mother went to inquire with the Lord to say, but why is such commotion in my tummy? Why is that so? So the commotion started in the tummy when the mother was still pregnant with the children. And until they were given birth. And we found that it happens a lot in our families. Where there's a rivalry in the families, where siblings don't want to talk to each other, where siblings hate each other, to a point of want to kill each other. My brother, I saw your hand.
Okay. Thanks, Pastor. I was just raising up my hand to say, most of the time, we usually blame our brothers and sisters.
Yes.
But the blame mostly will become from us.
Yes.
Like here, if you're at the first place, he was asked to say, give me your brotherhood.
Yes.
And he surrendered everything. He didn't know that he have already surrendered everything up to the end.
Yes.
It's the one who surrendered because they wanted to eat.
Yes.
Most of the time, we Seventh Adventists, we do eat something we are not supposed to eat.
Yeah.
And by the end of the day, we blame God to say, I'm sick because of this and this. Because of our mouth, we need to eat everything.
Exactly. But they say don't make a deal when you are desperate.
Yes.
Don't go into making a deal when you are desperate. Because people will take advantage. Whether they are your brother or sister, they'll take advantage of you. And a family is meant to he felt betrayed because he thought this man is supposed to support me. He's supposed to love me. He's supposed to encourage me. But we found that Jacob is very selfish and he is only thinking about himself. I just want to build up a platform and then I'll give to Umama to carry on. Can you go to 2 Samuel chapter 13 verse 1? Then we'll read until I stop you. 2 Samuel 13 from verse 1.
13 verse 1. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, son of David, had a fair sister.
Okay, let me start. And it came to pass after this that Absalom, the son of David, had a fair sister whose name was Tamar. And Amnon, the son of David, loved her. Verse 2. And Amnon was so vexed that he fell sick for his sister Tamar, for she was a virgin. And Amnon thought it hard for him to do anything to her. Verse 3. But Amnon had a friend whose name was Jonadab, the son of Shimeah, David's brother. And Jonadab was a very subtle man. And he said unto him, Why art thou being the king's son, live from day to day? Wilt thou not tell me? And Amnon said unto him, I love Tamar, my brother Absalom's sister. Verse 5. And Jonadab said unto him, Lay thee down on thy bed, and make thyself sick. And when thy father cometh to thee to see thee, say unto him, I pray thee, let my sister Tamar come and give me meat, and rest the meat in my sight, that I may see it, and eat it at her hand. Verse 6. So Amnon lay down and made himself sick. And when the king was come to see him, Amnon said unto the king, I pray thee, let Tamar my sister come, and make me a couple of cakes in my sight, that I may eat at her hand. Verse 7. Then David sent home to Tamar, saying, Go now to thy brother Amnon's house, and dress him meat. So Tamar went to her brother Amnon's house, and he was laid down. And she took flour and kneaded it, and made cakes in his sight, and did bake the cakes. And she took a pan and poured them out before him, but he refused to eat. And Amnon said, Ye have out all men from me. And they went out every man from him. And Amnon said unto Tamar, Bring me meat into the chamber, that I may eat of thine hand. And Tamar took the cakes which she had made, and brought them into the chamber to Absalom her brother. And when she had brought them unto him to eat, he took hold of her, and said unto her, Come lie with me, my sister. Verse 12. And she answered him, Nay, my brother, do not force me, for no such thing ought to be done in Israel. Do not thou this folly. Verse 18. And I, whither shall I cause my shame to go? And as for thee, thou shalt be as one of the fools in Israel. Now therefore I pray thee, speak unto the king, for he will not withhold me from thee. Verse 14. Howbeit he would not hearken unto her voice, but being stronger than she, forced her and lay with her.
Yeah, let's leave it there. And he forced her and slept with her. When you go up with the account, it says, after actually I said, if I had to write this one in my version, I would have put it that after he raped her, then he chased her away. Because the Bible says Amnon was so obsessed with her sister. He had that passion for her. And then he had a friend. Did you hear about the friend? Yes. Who ill-advised her? Do we check the friends around Abantwana? Do we ever check what type of friends are our children with? You know, this is the family of David, isn't it? Yes. You know, David was a warrior. He was strong in the battle, but he was weak at home. David was weak. And then we know the story. What happened that after that, Absalom wanted the father to deal with the matter. Do you know that?
Yeah.
He wanted the father to deal with this matter because this was her sister. The other one was half sister, half brother. Absalom wanted the father to deal with the matter, but the father did not deal with what? You know, when I read this account, I really thought to myself, why is this family so fragmented? Why is this family so there is no unity in this family? I was asking myself, because David, when Admon said he was sick, he called his father. But the father did not see it coming with it. This one had bad intentions. And I thought if Mama Bega she would have seen this. I thought to myself, if there was a woman who deals with the issue, she would have seen this coming. Lomfan is up to something. So it is important, God, Abu Mama, she has given you an eye. You see, one day again, when I'm this person again, it's very difficult for me to say no. So many times, I'll check with things like that. Just check with my wife. So you have good times on red, I need. I know good on red. I know she'll fight my battle. But what I'm trying to say is that it is important, Kutabu Mama, they should always be in the forefront. God has put you there purposely. Now let's look at the scenario. You know, here's this is what we call this family. That this family is stable. Polygamist. It's not even a blended family. Is it a blended family? No. It's stable. That is why we couldn't balance from this table.
Why did you show us that? How dangerous it is?
Because now there's a half brother, half sister, half father, half mother. Everything is in half. Ubaba sekabona intombazane yakhula. Atsigazi lakhe. Sekaba namizwa. Do we see the challenges that we have? Who are they? So when I look at this story, I saw the scenario, the things that are happening in our country. Umntwana has been raped, she cannot talk. She cannot say, if it's in the family, this is say protect, I need. But umntwana in the meantime, she's dying. She's going through depression. She's going through denial. She's going through she's suicidal. What else? She has no one to talk to. She feels betrayed. And hence we found our little boys and our little girls go to drugs. You know, I was listening to this woman, she said, my first love was cocaine. My first love was what? Was cocaine, because my uncle used to rape me. And I could not tell anyone. So these are the problems that we find in mixed families. And you know, I always said to myself, when I was preparing this thing, I know we have institutions in this country that deals with people who are depressed, that deals with people who are abusing drugs, people who are abusing alcohol, and so forth. But I do not want to remove the truth that God is the solution to our problems. As much as we are facing problems that we are having now, I was looking at these two boys who are siblings who are abusing in Yaope. And And these two brothers, they buy nyaope, they go to the graves, and then they start injecting each other. So the other one takes this nyaope, inject it into the other one, and then they take the syringe again. Then he pulls the blood. They call it Bluetooth. They call it Bluetooth. And then they call it Guti. It's an expensive blood. So when it's got drugs inside them, it's an expensive drug. So he pulls it out and injects it with himself. But you know that the thing that gave me hope is that when they were talking about one day that they need to be clean and move away from drugs. So many a times we find our children who are faced up with situations. Now, if you go to Johannesburg, the CBD, Mohamba with N Street, right at the end, we find all young girls lining up there for men. When you go to next to my area, I live not far from Rosettenville. In the afternoon, you see all these women. That I wanted to say that too. When I turned here, I could tell. I could tell. They brought light. I could tell that something is wrong here. You know, if a young woman would just stand and give her body like that. You know, one day we went to fetch, I don't know if we were fetching her or we were fetching the girls, vice versa. Because I'm in the business of fetching them. You know, they have their appointments, they have their gigs. Then I must, Papa, we are done, come and fetch us. So we drove, I think I was driving the girls. So we were driving in N Street because we were going towards Eastgate. From, you know, the way those young women were lined up. It was like now we'll vote. I'm trying to bring a picture. Yeah. So these things happen because our families have failed.
Yeah.
When our children were in need, when times were tough, they had no one to rely on, they had no one to talk to, they had no one to support them. And then they end up finding themselves in this situation. I spoke to one girl. I stopped my car, she came to me, and she wanted to prostitute her body. I said, no, we can't do this. Then she said, Baba, I just need money to go home. Then I asked her, where do you come from? She was coming from, I think, Delmas or this side. And then I said, how did you get here?
Yeah.
She said, no, this guy stopped his car, and then she said, no, come, talk to me. And he left with me. And I found myself in this situation. And I told her, I gave her a 50 rand because I didn't have money. I said, get into a taxi and go home. Lo and behold, next week I see her again. Because they give them drugs. Once they are hooked, it's not easy for them. It's not easy for them. So, Utama, she's been raped by the brother. And there's no one to advocate her case. There is no one to deal with her issues. And I want us to be as frank as possible, as open as we can. You know, I was asking myself, how do we as a church deal with such situation? Situations that, because we as a church have been called to save the world. And we need to come with ways and mechanisms to show people that, to show families, you know, the church has been called to do this. Now, the other type of blended families, which is very popular, which is growing in America, is marriage of same sex. Marriage of same sex. Where my brother will get married, the two of us. That's why we are single now. Oh, what's that? Who's single here? I thought you were telling me, oh, so, Mama. Oh, nice to meet you. I've been saying it to Lumuntu. But we meet as men and then we fall in love. And then you know what is happening now? They adopt children. Now it's becoming a norm and a practical thing. So the generation, this generation, their generation, yeah, good season. Their generation will find it normal. Is it normal for men to have a problem with it? Yeah. You don't know. You have no issue. But you know, my daughters, I always rebuke them. Hey, Papa, this guy, he's so gay. Yeah. There's nothing as such. Yeah. Hey, Papa, he's so gay, you know. There's nothing. The generation is coming where we'll see that it is normal. And those who have been adopted, they have been advocated for to say the children can, you know, as two people loving each other. You know, it can be. So we are moving to that society. So we found Uguti. Now, an institution that was introduced by God is gradually distorted and diminishing. Now, in population in America, I can't remember the stats. I think 5 years ago, there were about 100 and something million, 190. Well, we don't even come close, South Africa. We don't come close to their population. Now, if half of the population agrees with it, isn't that a big problem? So maybe twice our population agrees with that. It is normal for a man to marry a man and a woman to marry a woman. Now I want to make a statement that is made by Ellen White. Ellen White says, you know, when they come from heaven, the devil thought and he was sure that he has put a separation between earth and heaven. And how deep is this statement? The devil was convinced that mina nezulu, izulu nomhlaba phelile. So God will never go back emhlabeni to redeem his people. That was the